Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine you're plugging in your guitar, right? Ready to make some magic. But somewhere between your instrument and your amp, your perfect tone starts to, I don't know, whisper away. Or maybe you're dreaming of those epic dual amp sounds, but you're worried about signal loss. Today, we're doing a deep dive into two sort of unsung heroes of the pedal board that fight these battles for you: buffer pedals and ABY
Yeah,
switchers.
exactly. And based on the sources you've shared,
Yeah.
everything from articles to technical breakdowns, our mission today is really to uncover the essential nuggets. What are these pedals? Where do they come from? And why are they still like indispensable tools for any guitarist who's serious about their sound? We're going to make sure you walk away knowing the deal and maybe a little surprised by what these small boxes can actually do.
Okay, so you plug in your guitar, that beautiful, vibrant signal starts its journey. But what happens if that journey is, well, a long one? Or it goes through a whole chain of pedals? What's the big problem we're trying to solve here? What's the enemy?
Well, what's fascinating here is that your guitar's pickup, it naturally produces a high impedance signal. Think of it as quite delicate. The challenge is the moment it hits long cable runs, or, and this surprises some people, even multiple true bypass pedals, you can start losing your high frequency content, that sparkle, and also that crucial dynamic snap of your playing. It's like a bright stream, slowly drying up as it flows further.
And true bypass, that sounds like it should be good, right? Pure signal.
That's the kicker, yeah. It sounds ideal taking the circuit completely out when it's off, but the cumulative effect of all that unbuffered wiring, plus tiny bits of capacitance in a long chain, it can act like a subtle filter. It progressively kind of shunts away your high-end shimmer and punch. It's this unintended consequence of trying to keep things pure.
Ah, okay. So if you've ever felt your guitar tone lose its sparkle or punch on a big pedal board.
This is likely what you're experiencing. Yeah, that subtle degradation.
Right. So if that pristine signal is always under threat, what's
Yeah.
the hero designed to fight this? And enter the buffer pedal. What exactly is this little box doing?
Think of a buffer as like a signal bodyguard, or maybe a signal strength converter. Your guitar puts out that fragile, high impedance signal. It gets weakened easily by long cables, other pedals, all that stuff. A buffer pedal takes that delicate signal and, without changing its actual volume, that's the unity gain part, it transforms it. It turns it into a robust, low impedance signal.
Okay.
It's like taking a thin thread and weaving it into a strong rope. This makes it super resilient, able to travel that long journey without losing its punch, its clarity, or that high-end sparkle.
That sounds pretty modern, actually. But our sources suggest buffers have roots way back.
Yeah.
Where did this idea even come from? When did people realize they needed this?
Yeah, it's fascinating when you trace it back. Believe it or not, even early fuzz pedals, like the Maestro fuzz tone, the Arbiter fuzz phase, they actually included rudimentary impedance matching stages right in the circuit.
Wow, really?
Uh,
Back then?
Yeah, these were, primitive buffers built right in. They were designed to stop the fuzz from sounding weak or getting loaded down when you chained it into other gear.
Okay.
But here's where it gets really interesting. As pedal boards started getting bigger, late 70s, 80s, Boss revolutionized things. They began putting buffer circuits into the bypass path of every single pedal.
Every pedal, like the OD1, DS1.
Exactly, those icons. Or the TU2 tuner. Think about that. This ensured your tone stayed consistent whether the effect was on or off. That was a huge leap forward. It wasn't just technical. It kind of democratized consistent tone for everyone. Pedal boards went from being potentially frustrating signal suckers to reliable creative tools.
That is a huge leap. I remember building my first, serious board and just scratching my head. Why does my tone just vanish after pedal 4? So is that where these dedicated standalone buffer units came in?
Absolutely. By the 90s, the 2000s, players were demanding maximum tone preservation. So builders like Demeter, TC Electronic with their Bonafide buffer, Zodic Effects with the EP Booster, they started offering dedicated buffer pedals. And the thinking on how to use them, the best practice, it became pretty clear.
Which is?
Generally, put one buffer first in your chain, right after the guitar. That feeds a strong, low-impedance signal into all of the pedals downstream. And you might also consider a second buffer, last into the chain, just before your amp. Especially useful if you've got long cable runs to the amp itself. Helps ensure everything arrives intact.
That's super helpful for placement. Okay, so for listeners looking to maybe check some out, are there specific models that are like benchmarks? Or maybe hidden gems?
Definitely. And it's almost funny, but for so many gigging guitarists, the Boss TU2 or the later TU3 tuner, it's been the default tone saver since 1998. It's a tuner, yeah, but its built-in buffer is always working, protecting your signal.
Huh. Never thought of my tuner that way.
Right. Then you have things like the TC Electronic Bonafide Buffer.
Right.
It's celebrated for being really compact, totally transparent, super wide bandwidth. It basically doesn't mess with your tone.
Yep.
And the Exotic EP Booster. Now, that's technically a boost pedal, but it has a really high-quality buffer circuit inside. So it's great for preserving brightness, especially if you have a lot of true bypass pedals.
Okay.
So yeah, understanding buffers, it can literally save your sound from disappearing into the ether. It preserves that high-end shimmer, that dynamic punch you work so hard for.
Okay, cool. So we've armored our core tone against degradation with a buffer. Awesome. What's the next step? What if you want to really expand your sound? Maybe use 2 amps. Single amp isn't cutting it.
That's exactly where the ABY switcher comes in.
Yeah.
It's a, well, remarkably simple but incredibly powerful tool. It lets you route your guitar signal or even your whole effects chain to output A or output B, or, and this is the Y part, to both outputs at the same time.
A, B, or both Y. Got it.
Yeah, precisely. And this enables things like instant amp switching on stage, or the ability to blend 2 different rigs in real time. Huge sonic possibilities.
Now, our sources really hammered home a key difference in ABY switchers. Passive versus buffer designs. Why does this matter so much? What's the practical difference for us guitar players?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. It directly impacts your sound, potentially quite a bit.
Yeah.
Passive ABY switchers are super simple. They use mechanical switching, literally just rerouting the wire. They don't need power, maybe just for an LED, which means zero power-related noise. Some people like that purity.
But there's always a but.
There's always a but. When you split your signal passively, you're basically dividing the electrical current. This can lead to noticeable tone loss, especially a roll-off in your high frequencies. Your tone can sound weaker, less bright. Think of it like trying to split one garden hose to water 2 different flower beds at the same time. Neither gets full pressure, right?
Right, okay, that makes sense. So the buffered ones.
So active or buffered ABY designs, they integrate 1 or sometimes more buffer stages on each output. And often, they use what's called Class A circuitry.
Class A, what's special about that?
Class A is a type of amplifier design known for being really linear, very low distortion, super clean. This is a huge deal because it ensures that when your signal gets split, both outputs receive a perfectly pure, uncompromised, full bandwidth signal. It's as if each amp was plugged directly into your guitar, even though the signal is split.
So no loss in pressure, going back to the hose analogy.
Exactly. It's critical if you're driving 2 nice amps. You want both to sound clear, punchy, just as intended. It really shows how those buffer concepts we talked about elevate these switching devices.
Yeah, totally. So that garden hose thing really paints a picture. What were some of the key moments or pedals that really shaped the evolution of these switchers?
Well, looking back, one of the earliest compact ones was the Morley Gold Series ABY. Purely passive mechanical switching for ABY. Simple. But then, a really significant leap forward came with the Radial Tone Bone Big Shot ABY. That pedal pioneered having truly buffered outputs, tackling that passive tone loss problem head on.
Okay.
And it added clever stuff too, like a phase flip switch on channel B. That's crucial when blending amps, otherwise they can sound thin or cancel each other out. It even had something called drag control to mimic how an amp input loads the guitar signal. Helps minimize hiss and keeps the tone feeling right.
Wow, okay, that's getting sophisticated.
Yeah. And building on that, you have things like the Radial Tone Bone Twin City. That offers even more control, like dual foot switches, so you can switch A, B, and Y independently. Plus, a dedicated tuner output. And those really robust Class A buffers on both paths. It's a pro-level workhorse, that kind of thing.
It sounds like these tools offer incredible technical precision, but how does that actually translate for musicians? I mean, how are players using these to create really cool sounds? What are the applications?
Oh, the creative uses are incredibly diverse and honestly really inspiring. Dual amp rigs are probably the classic example. Players like the Edge from U2 or John Mayer, they're not just switching between amps, they're often blending them. Maybe a clean amp and an overdriven amp simultaneously.
Right, creating these huge textures.
Exactly. Incredibly rich, almost 3-dimensional textures live that you just can't get from a single amp. Think about that depth. And furthermore, in genres like, say, ambient music or post-rock, players often use buffered ABY pedals to drive 2 matched amps or maybe separate power amp channels.
Mm-hmm.
They get these vast, shimmering, wide-field sounds that just wash over you. And critically, without any signal degradation muddying the clarity.
Wow.
So it's really about empowering artists, letting them craft unique soundscapes, breaking free from single amp limits, all while maintaining perfect clarity and punch across what can be a really massive sonic canvas.
So what a journey we've been on. We've unpacked how buffer pedals are like these silent guardians, yeah, preserving your tone's sparkle and dynamics against those subtle thieves like long cables and pedal chains. And then we dove into ABY switchers, revealing how they unlock just incredible creative possibilities, letting you blend amps, switch between them, sculpt these vast, complex soundscapes.
Yeah, and what truly stands out, I think, isn't just the technical side of it all. It's how these seemingly utilitarian tools directly empower guitarists. They let you move beyond limitations. They help you sculpt truly unique sonic identities and achieve artistic expressions that, well, they simply wouldn't be possible otherwise. They're not just pieces of gear, they're creative enablers, really.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If these like humble little boxes can so profoundly shape the sound of an instrument, creating entirely new sonic palettes, new ways to perform, what other invisible technologies designed for maybe one specific problem are currently redefining the boundaries of creativity in other art forms, right under our noses, something to ponder until our next deep dive, maybe.